Hello, Ghost of Day. Sorry. Um, this is a response to your video, War. Um, I've only just discovered your videos. I think the first video of yours I saw was the one you made, where Uber Ghosten, or however you pronounce that name, responded to. I think it was the Amazing Atheist you responded to. Anyway, um, yeah, I just watched your video about war, and first of all, I'd like to say that I think you are completely 100% right. War is not a necessary evil. It's it's violent, it's horrible, it's pointless, and inevitably it doesn't get any kind of results. I'm not even sure if war is intended to get results or if war is just an excuse for mindless violence. Um, I think that's definitely the case that's definitely true in the case of the recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and wherever else that there's been wars recently in the last 10 years or so. One that comes to mind is the incident over the 9/11 bombings when America decided to attack Afghanistan for the supposed terrorist plots. Well, it wasn't terrorist plots; it was uh, terrorist acts, and I did think that was just mindless violence. But you're talking about war in general, and as I said, I think you are 100% right. But I'm sure, as you can imagine, I'm not just making this video so I can say I agree with you 100%. What would be the point of just making a video? I could say that in a comment. But what I want to say, I don't want to say in a comment. I'd like to say it uh, through video because it's a bit more personal. I don't know if you'll watch this, if you'll see this response. Most people that I've responded to have never watched my videos, and why would they? Why would anybody care what I have to say? But I think war. I don't want to say war has a purpose because you're right, it doesn't. But I'm going to use Second World War as an example. Hitler wanted the world to run by his regime. He wanted the world to be what he wanted it to be, perfect in his eyes. And the only way to stop, if something wasn't done about that, the world would have been destroyed. Well, I don't know. Maybe Hitler's regime would have worked. Maybe it would have turned out much better. Because look at the world we have today. But the only way to stop Hitler was to kill him. Because he wasn't going to be talked around. Like he was clinically insane. You weren't going to be able to talk him around and talk sense into him or beat sense into him. You had to stop him. Again, this comes down to violence, which obviously I don't think is a solution. But in this case, I think there's extremes and there's exceptions to every rule, and I think this is the exception to that rule. Hitler was threatening the way the world worked in a negative way because he just wanted everybody to obey him and the world to work his way instead of actually asking what people might have wanted. Um, but the only way to kill Hitler was through war because of the fact that he had accumulated such a following and the fact that most of the people were too scared to go against him, so people fought for him blindly, and that war it it got things done. The Second World War solved the problem that it set out to solve. I don't know enough about history to say whether it did any harm. Obviously, it did harm to the to the to the masses. Millions of people were killed, not just soldiers but civilians that were killed out of pure hatred. And that's the same with any war. It's not just about life or death. It's about hatred and having hatred without a good reason to have hatred, just hating people for the sake of it and killing them for hating them. You know, if everybody had killed everybody that they hated for the smallest of reasons, then I don't think there'd be many people left. So obviously, you know, I don't agree with just killing people because you hate them. But but that war got that problem solved. It may have caused a hell of a lot of other problems as well, but do the positives outweigh the negatives of that war? I don't know. I don't know enough about history, as I've already said. I'm not a historian or anything like that. I haven't looked into. We can't say what the world would be like if that war hadn't have happened. Maybe it would have been better. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Yeah. So, and as I said on the comment section to your video, I'm not defending war in general. No, I suppose I am to an extent, but I don't like war. Don't get me wrong. As I've already said, war is just mindless. Is just an excuse for mindless violence, which is basically what you said. And but war wars don't solve the problem most of the time. But as I said, there's exceptions to every rule. In most cases, there's an exception to that rule as well, by its own law. Um, I'm confusing myself now. I'm just talking in circles. Um, so yeah, that war had a purpose and it had a positive effect on the world. But well, maybe it didn't. Maybe obviously we can't know what happened if it didn't work out that way. But I don't really think too much about that. I'll just confuse myself more. So, but yeah, wars in general don't solve problems. Violence does not solve problems. I had this debate with somebody a while ago about revolution, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean these days. So overused uh, in discussion that I have anyway. There's always people talking about new world order and revolution, and it doesn't work. It's just stop. So I guess in conclusion, I agree with you 100%, and I'm probably a horrible person for even thinking about disagreeing with you. You know, in most cases, when you said if you don't agree with me, fuck you, uh, I'd have said, well, you're a closed-minded piece of shit, and you're ignorant, and you're fucking stupid. But in this case, that would just be meaningless, and it would make me a horrible person for saying that. So this video has gone on far too long. I need a good way to end. So yeah, you're completely right, but I think some situations there is no other way out, but it does have to be an absolute extreme. You know, if a country is threatening to destroy the world except itself for its own purposes, that country should be stopped. You know, do you agree or not? I don't know. Um, any feedback that you can give me would be much appreciated. Um, thanks for watching if you did. If you didn't, then I've just wasted 8 minutes of my life. Bye.